found 30 years later. Diana's new recording puts a dagger into Harry's heart. Charles's youngest son was an unwelcome mistake. The late mother admitted that Charles regretted the birth of her youngest son. Hello and welcome to Princess Diana News Channel. All is well. Yesterday I talked about Harry's utter confusion as to who his biological father really is. Today we discovered some new interesting news closely related to this issue. So let's dig a little deeper. I also want to address your comments in this video. Once again, thank you for being there to support Kate Middleton and the Queen. Now, according to the latest report, already upset from an ugly family feud and being branded a failure in America, palace insiders are claiming that a troubled Prince Harry has been blindsided once again, and this time it is by his beloved late mother Diana, who confessed on tape that her youngest son was in fact a tragic mistake and his father Charles was disappointed by his birth. This bombshell revelation was made in Diana's own voice on a new British TV documentary. And it has really thrown Harry into a horrible emotional tailspin. And Harry was already not in a good emotional place because he's been shunned by his older brother, William, as well as their father, King Charles, according to royal courtiers. And sources say they fear Harry, who is already in treatment, may never recover from his stroke. A royal says, "It's a terrible thing to hear that you were an unwanted child, and it hurts all the more because your father was always a great customer. And of course, his loving and caring mother is gone." The worst thing is that Carlos does not retract his previous comments. I'm told he feels his daughter won't betray him the way Harry did by dishonoring the family and reneging on his commitments to live in the US with his wife Meghan. Of course, according to our sources, if Harry had been a girl, there would be no Meghan. Now, with his business plans failing and his family estranged, this latest blow threatens to push him over the edge emotionally. Palace Insiders insists the most damaging of the 7 hours of taped interviews author Andrew Morton conducted with him for his 1992 biography Diana, Her True Story. The revelation was Diana's claim that Charles told his stepmother Rain Spencer immediately after Harry's birth. She said, "My husband didn't even speak to his mother, just because of Harry's baptism." Charles approached his mother and said, "You know, we are very disappointed. We thought it would be a girl." His mother cut off his head and said to him, "You must understand how lucky you are to have a child." Very good. From that day on, she said, the blinds were closed. This is what Charles did when we answered him. Now, of course, Diana died at the age of 36 in a car accident in Paris in 1997. And she also criticized her 2 early marriages to Charles, who proposed to her when she was just 19. They got married when they were 20 and she was 32 in 1981. I heard him say, "It has grown so much." This is Diana, the kindergarten teacher. I mean, the whole thing was funny. As reported by the National Enquirer, courtiers' claims contradict Harry's seemingly broken world, where he married Meghan, 42, in May 2018. Of course, we know that Meghan and Harry abandoned their royal duties and fled to America, where they eventually settled. Montecito, California, where they signed lucrative production deals with media companies like Spotify and Netflix. And believes that these deals are worth more than $100 million. But, of course, the little deal with Spotify ended. One executive called them lazy liars and said they used their fame to make money without doing any work. And it doesn't look like their contract with Netflix will be renewed. Sources say this is also due to their poor performance. Harry was at the peak of his career when he married Meghan, but his world has fallen apart since then, largely because their greed and determination overshadowed the royal family, a courtier said. Of course, they live in a fantasy world, cut off from the real sources of their fame and failure. Harry is shunned by his relatives, his brother William and his wife Kate. And his father, always conservative, wanted nothing to do with him. It's obvious now that he never did. Unfortunately, according to our sources, Harry is ready to fall apart, especially if his marriage fails. OMG, this is news, isn't it? Okay, let's just go back to recent events for a moment and talk about some of the insights you shared yesterday in a video called, What's at Stake? Need DNA? The truth about Harry's biological father cannot go away. I noticed there are a lot of conflicting opinions, so let's look at some of them. Chapter first, we have Susan Roberts. 5 years on, who would want to be Harry's father? No matter who Harry's father is, nothing can erase, undo, repair, or change all the anger, grief that Harry has brought to so many people. At this point, I think being Harry's father would be a losing proposition, fraught with pain from giving birth to such a loser. Then Aquaria said, the truth about Harry's child must be revealed, that I don't know anything else. Annette said no. Prince Charles looks much better than Harry. There seems to be no consensus on who Harry's biological father is. But let's move on to what others are saying. We have Cecilia. If he makes money from it, he doesn't care if Princess Diana's name is completely destroyed. You're probably right, Cecilia. And then we have the BW user. Harry can easily take a DNA test to determine if he is indeed a surrogate or not even a surrogate. This is a good point. If Harry isn't even Charles's son, I don't think he'll ever be in first place again. Rustam says that I had 4 children, all from the same father. The oldest is strawberry blonde with green eyes. His eldest son is blonde and has blue eyes, the third has dark hair and brown eyes, the youngest has brown hair and brown eyes. All are different, but in the same way. This is a good point. I mean, we see that Harry is like Charles in some ways, but not in others. But that doesn't mean he's not Charles's son, but that doesn't mean he's definitely Charles's. Here are JM's comments. Imagine if Harry wasn't King Charles's son, Meghan Markle would leave him in a heartbeat. Because she has everything to lose and doesn't care about Harry at all. Chapter indeed. She didn't care about Harry, she only cares about what Harry can get for her. Titles and money. If it turns out that he is not the king's son, she will definitely leave him. Honestly, I think she's going to leave him anyway. But thank you very much for your comment. And then we have Diane with a really good explanation. He does the same to his children. This is true. All the things Harry criticized his father for, like not spending time with him as a young child, he does the same with his invisible children. Again, assuming they are even real. And then Barbara says, the only thing I find strange is that Prince Harry suddenly got curly hair as a teenager. When he lost his mother, it was like William, a heterosexual. Well, that's a little strange, I hadn't thought about it before, but now that I think about it, you're right. As it happens though, now that I think about it, my hair was pretty straight when I was younger and got a little wavy as I got older. So maybe it happened to Harry, or maybe he got permanent. Another comment from Sue Clark. I was surprised, but I believed that Charles was Harry's father. His close-up eyes looked exactly like Charles's to me, even though it was true and he knew Harry wasn't Charles's son. Carlos showed him the love and acceptance of a father. And Harry should be grateful. I agree with you 100%, Sue. I also agree with this view. I think Harry is a lot like Charles. We also need to focus on the fact that Charles was very kind to him throughout his life. He must show more gratitude than he does. Thank you so much for your comment, Sue. And then we have Trish. Diana's mental state was very unstable. Nothing would surprise me, but Harry's eyes were pressed together, just like Charles's. Well, I'm glad to see that at least most of us agree that Harry has as much eyes closed as Charles does. On the next page, I really like Susan Strange's review. Susan said, I don't care who Harry's father is. I care about Diana and her reputation. I don't accept anything, but there are some exceptions. If your wife was in love with someone else before and after marriage, she was lonely. What a difficult life he had. I do not judge anyone. This is God's judgment. I really wish we could forget the truth about our children. We all know they are fake. I agree with you, Suzanne. Honestly, I think all these rumors about Harry's biological father might just be a distraction for Harry and Meghan's publicists. They try to make us forget that they have invisible children who aren't even real. Now this is the real problem we need to focus on. And then an interesting note of appreciation for Queen Elizabeth. Harry's DNA was tested at birth. His father was a civil servant. As he grew up, Harry often went out with the man and often attended sports games with the man. Excuses are part of Markle and Harry's life. To remove the tension surrounding the whole nature of Harry's condition, a bit of honesty needs to be expressed at this point. He's really at his wit's end when it comes to being accepted by the royals, and it's all down to his lifestyle and not his parenting. King Charles adopted him as his own son, and this is a gift to Harry that he could never accept. I would like to know more about this claim. Now, if you have a reliable source, please let us know in the comments. I'm not saying it's not true, I'm just saying it's a pretty amazing thing, and I'd like to know more if it were true. Chapter, thank you very much for sharing your appreciation. Now the last comment I want to share is from Leslie. Unfortunately, he is King Charles's son, Leslie said. Harry is the spitting image of Charles. Diana just didn't have a relationship. He was many, and long before Charles approached Camilla. Diana even broke 3 marriages. Charles was hoping for a girl when Diana was expecting, but when the boy was born, Charles couldn't hide his disappointment and insensitively said that he was a boy and also had red hair. I know that's not the best word. But he had always loved Harry, his favorite boy. Although I expect he'll want to give up now. Chapter, but Charles is the father, I promise, same close-up eyes, same nose, same hands. That sounds nothing like James Hewitt. I agree with you, Leslie. I particularly disagree with James Hewitt being Harry's father because I don't see any resemblance. But when I looked at Harry and Charles's facial features, yes, I realized they might actually be father and son. Thanks again for sharing your perspective with us, Leslie. Okay, enough of digging into the past to find out who Harry's father is, let's get back to the present. I think the most unfortunate thing about Harry is that we have to consider the fact that the Invincibles is all he really has left. He doesn't have any better advice. I wonder what Travelist is doing these days. What is left of Harry now? Invictus was the only time he felt good. He felt that he had some friends. The royal family was just happy that he found the meaning of life and supported him. Harry was with his friends, and that really made him happy. He felt like one of the boys. Chapter, what did Meghan do? Well, she must have ruined everything for him. She hated it when he had things she wasn't a part of. She just has to show up to these unscheduled photo shoots, give these unscheduled speeches, go through her whole routine, and no one wants to see it. Then Harry had to be pushed aside. Again, he was a substitute. And it's a role he hates. But at the same time, he is very comfortable with it because he is used to it. And I know it's going to be hard for Harry. It is clear that Meghan is only keeping him because she thinks she can get more out of him, that he will have to make a tough choice, perhaps for the first time in his life. Chapter, please tell me what you think in the comments. If you liked our video today, please like and share it with your friends and family, they will always enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to Princess Diana's news channel for more updates in the future. Chapter, thank you very much for watching. That I wish you a nice day, and we will see you in future videos.